apologize.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Dario. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the February 8th, is it today the 8th? Yes, February 8th, 2021 meeting of the Personnel Commission for Long Beach City College. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like, Jennifer, you just saved me from being eliminated out of this meeting. So could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure, all rise. Your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and
justice for all.
Thank you, Jennifer. Roll call. Robin? Robin, are you there? We're having a little bit of problem with our audio. I think that Robin.
America, one nation under God.
Is everybody else hearing her on delay?
Yes. There's a delay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Robin is here. Jeff, how about you?
Here.
And Janine McManigal-Ball, we're all here this evening. Public comments on agenda items. This is for this evening. Do we have any public comments for this evening, Juliet?
Not for agenda items, no.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And do I have a second, Robin? Can you hear me okay? I'm going to go ahead and second that because I'm not sure if Robin's on a delay or not.
Second, yes.
Thank you.
I second.
Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing and seeing none. Robin? Robin, can you vote on the minutes? I'm going to go. Was that an aye, Robin?
Aye.
Thank you. Jeff, how about you?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That motion passes. And on to new business approval of the eligibility list for Human Resources Manager.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you,
Since I'm not
Jeff.
time delayed.
Thank you. And Robin, can you second that or would you prefer that I do that? Did we
I
lose
think we
Robin?
lost Robin.
We lost Robin. Dario, do you know what her status is as far as what's happening with her?
I know she was en route and she was going to try to get to a desktop. So
Got
she was
it.
on her phone.
I hate for her to miss anything.
Is she
We
en
want
route?
to give her a few moments.
Yeah, if that's okay with everyone else. I hate to hold up everybody else, but I don't want to take her out of any discussion that she might want to share.
While we're waiting, I just have a question only because on these next couple of items, really Jennifer, we had, I mean, for the HR manager, that for one example, and there was another one where we had 51 open applications. And by the time we go through the entire process, we're down to 3. Is 3 because that is what we're mandated to do? 3, I mean, sometimes they open that up to a larger number, to 5, to, I don't know. So is there a reason why we have that magic number 3 at the end of the process?
It's just the way the exam played out, Jeff. I mean, based on the competitiveness of the candidate pool, the way that they performed at each step from the minimum qualification screening to the interviews, or oral panel interviews, based on the scores and the pass point that was set, that's the number of individuals that came forward in the process.
And the reason why, Jennifer, I was asking, because there was another one farther down with HR specialists where we started with 133, it got weaned down to 53, then we ended up at 3 again. And so I was just curious. My point is, a lot of times when you selection process, when you, and this is almost like something out of athletics. So a football playoff, what it was 2, then it was 4, then they say they need 6. I don't know if there's any magic number, but I was just curious why sometimes giving to that person 5 names instead of 3 names, is that good or bad? I don't know. I was just curious because they all ended up at 3, it seemed like. So I was just more worried, concerned about, questioning about the process more than anything else.
So the two lists are very different. That's a really good observation, but the HR manager list is a brand new list and the HR specialist is a list that we've already made a few hires from. So we've narrowed that list down over time.
Okay. All right.
I think Robin's back with us. Robin, can you hear us? I think you're on mute.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, great. So Robin, we lost you for a little bit. I'm not sure if you were aware of that or not, but we have a new business. We're on A right now. We just held up the meeting for you and Jeff was just asking general questions while we didn't have you. So we're on new business A, approval of eligibility list for human resources manager. May I have a motion for that? And I think Jeff already mentioned.
I made the motion already. That's fine.
Is there a second on that item?
I can second, and Jeff, I did hear your discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Is there any discussion on the human resources manager eligibility list?
As Jeff pointed out, we had 51 applicants show interest. That was narrowed down to 26 applicants after the minimum qualification screening. And then we invited 7 applicants to the interviews and we ended up with 3 on the list, so 3 eligibles.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any
I
other?
did have a question regarding the way that, yes, I do have a question. Thank you. I noticed in the census information that you give us census information on the applicants, but at the end, you don't give us the same census information. Is there a reason?
Do you mean the data? The statistics for the?
Yes, right. I noticed that when I looked at the data, I could see clear data of how many applicants were in each category. I could see how many applicants were in the categories that we selected to interview. But once we made those interviewing decisions and the listing decisions, then it doesn't seem like we get the census data anymore. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I'm just asking.
No, this is the format that we've typically put forward, but if that's something you'd like to see moving forward, we can add that.
I would. I liked, if I'm going to get the information, if I'm going to know that out of 50 candidates, 17 of them were male and so many were female, and then we're going to break it down by ethnicity, which I have no problem with, then I'd like to know, once you make that selection, the same information.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Makes sense.
thank you so much.
Makes
I
sense.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
That
Any
was
other?
my only discussion.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a vote. Robin?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye, so that passes. On to B, approval of extension of eligibility list. This is for human resources specialists. And this expires 4/9 in 2021. So just a couple of months. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Robin.
I will second it.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there any discussion on this item?
I just wanted to point out that we are able to do this per ed code. I know that some employees came forward and questioned that the list was expired in December, but our PC rules happen to be slightly more narrow than the ed code allows for us to extend the list. And so we're putting this forward so that we can make a hiring decision and have continuity in our services.
Thank you, Jennifer. I don't know if we should talk about this now or talk about it later, but because this was a bit of an issue, Robert, can you tell us what the status, tell me if I'm going out of order, Jennifer, can we talk about the status of the Rules and Regulations Committee right now to address this type of problem? Is that appropriate?
And let me give just a little bit more context. So
Okay.
some of our PC rules haven't been addressed since the 1990s, so late 90s, so over 2 decades. And so they're outdated. And what we've talked about at the end of last calendar year, we said, once we get a little bit farther along in the class study and as time and resources permit, we would really like to revisit the PC Rules Committee so that we can revisit some of these rules that are really outdated and just more narrow than they need to be.
Right.
So we've had those discussions, and I think both the commission and the union are on board with that as time permits.
Okay. Donna and Robert, anybody else out there that's representing you guys tonight? Do you feel comfortable with what's happening and you understand why it's happening?
Yeah, the ed code seems to be clear, and I reviewed it and I researched it and I found the same thing. So I think at this time, if it was like 6 months, I'd say no, but it was, you know, a difficult time, December and January, where the school's pretty much kind of closed. So I'm thinking nothing really changed in the 2 months. So I think it's about max until we change the rules, but I think it's well within the time that you guys have the right to use it if you see fit. And as for the committee, yeah, we're looking at it. I mean, my people and everyone right now is crazy because it's hard to tell, but it's the first week of school.
Right.
The students aren't on campus and everyone's kind of crazy.
Right.
So we're really hoping to get through a couple weeks and then maybe, you know, as things clear up and like you said, the class study gets out there and we have a little more time, then yeah, I'd really like to address and fix some of these things so they're more current than what they have been since the 80s and 90s.
Thank you. Donna, did you have anything to add to that?
No, Robert and we had all discussed it earlier, so he pretty much said everything we needed to say.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that we're all in tandem, understanding what the problem was, why it's occurring, and that we'd rather not have to do this, but it would be preferable for us to change the rules so that they were more accommodating in all cases, not just this one. But we want to make sure that you guys are on board with it and that everyone's comfortable with what was happening on this particular situation.
Oh, to that point, Janine, I mean, this was a unusual circumstance. What prompted this?
Right.
So how often does this type of scenario come up? Is this?
It's my understanding that this is the first time that we're addressing it in this manner. And so, you know, as Ed Code reads, it's really at the discretion of the commission if you see that it's appropriate to make this decision at this time.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Jeff.
yeah, as the point of, we technically, you know, we've gone beyond, but we're, you know, I don't know how we want to deal with it, but it seems like everyone's comfortable. We acknowledge, we understand, and we can move forward and hopefully correct it, one of many other things in the future. So as far as to stop and go back, I don't know how that would help overall.
Okay.
But I mean, that's what I mean. I haven't heard anyone to sit there and say, this is the line in the sand and we're not going to cross it. I have not heard that at all.
Right.
But also known as pick your fights. So.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and vote. Robin?
Aye, I vote aye.
Thank you. Jeff?
There you are. Aye.
And I vote aye as well. That passes unanimously. Thank you. We get to see Robin now. Welcome, Robin. Going on to the next. We're on B, right?
C?
We're on C. Approval extension of working out of class. This is for Jason Avila. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Robin. Any discussion about the working out of class?
Hi, this is Yvonne Gutierrez Sandoval. I'm the Dean of Enrollment Services. Just want to let you all know that there's a couple of working out of class coming down the pipeline for my area. It stemmed from my role as Dean being interim. I've just assumed the permanent position. So we're hoping this is the final extension to give us time to post the position for Director of Financial Aid, which is where Jason Avila has been serving as interim that we'd like to extend to allow for that posting.
Thank you so much for that, Yvonne. We appreciate it. Any
Yvonne,
other-
I was just curious, who was there before? Who was the human being that was in that position?
Me, I was the senior director of financial aid previously. And then I moved to the interim dean role. And then that's what started the domino. Then Jason moved into the interim director.
Yeah, I was curious. I was trying to go, why? I'm trying to connect the dots. So, yeah, you were covering all bases. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. I was a catalyst. I was the one that started all this movement.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Jeff. Any other questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none. Robin,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to D, approval of extension of working out of class. This is for Susanna Duran. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I will second it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item?
This is Yvonne. This is just to let you know Susanna is filling in temporarily for Jason, and that's part of the domino. And I think there's going to be one more as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Yvonne. Any other questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none. Robin,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to E, working out of class. This is for Erica Rodriguez. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And is there any discussion on this item?
This is Yvonne. This is the last one. Erica's filling in for Susanna Duran.
Who's filling in for Jason?
Filling in for.
You.
Correct.
Thank you.
Just got it now about what she meant about the domino effect.
Who's
They're
on
fine.
first? Who's on second?
They're going up.
Bond's on all bases is what I meant.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none. Robin,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to approval of resignation in good standing for former employee. This is for Karina Barajas. May I have a motion, please?
Make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item?
We are seeing. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Now we're starting to see, we asked this question last meeting and now I'm starting to see more of these where people have, there's no issues with it, but I think it's sort of curious. We're starting to see more and more of these come across.
Yeah.
I think it's attributed largely to the pandemic. And in this particular instance, Karina was an administrative assistant for our Child Development Center since February of 2019. And with good evaluations, meeting and exceeding expectations. She is leaving due to childcare issues related to the pandemic.
A lot of things changed for a lot of people in the last year, so it makes sense.
I think also though, because people want to have, in their personal files, to have that written document, in case there's ever a question about, we all ask it whenever we're looking for hiring someone, we ask for credentials and so on. And, this way they have a strong paper trail. So I think it's just more for peace of mind or comfort or future potential employment that it's just, there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah, I think it makes complete sense. Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Robin?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to H, which is approval of advanced salary placement. This is for human resources.
We have G,
Oh,
Janine,
I skipped one. I'm
skipped over
sorry.
just one.
It's hard when I'm flipping between screens. I apologize. This is approval for resignation in good standing for former employee. This is Stuart Newell. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Robin.
Second.
Thank you,
Second.
Jeff. Any discussions on this item?
Yes, so Stuart is leaving due to personal reasons. He was a wonderful addition to the HR team. He joined us in October of 2020 officially, had served in an LTE capacity for just a couple of months. And so we were sad to see him leave, but we wish him well as he focuses on his personal circumstances.
And maybe he'll come back to us, which would be wonderful. Any other comments? Hearing and seeing none. Robin?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That passes unanimously. Now we can go to H, which is approval of advanced salary placement. This is for human resources specialists. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item?
May has been with us for 2 years in an LTE capacity, specifically with the Human Resources Department, and she's just graciously jumped into any project that we throw her way, from data cleanup to leave administration. She's our point person right now for COVID leaves. She works across lines with our risk management group quite a bit with business services on contact tracing. She's served on many committees, so we are happy to be able to retain her. We have not been able to offer her a job comparable with her analyst level, but this is an opportunity we can provide her, and we're happy that she's going to stick around and will continue to work with us in this capacity.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Any other questions or comments on this? Hearing or seeing none. Robin?
I'd be glad to make the motion if yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. And Jeff?
I would second the motion, but my apologies.
Okay, no problem. And we've already had our discussion. Is there anybody else that wants to speak? Okay. And Robin, your vote?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I think I was the one that went out of order there. I apologize.
I am going back and forth trying to look at everyone while also trying to follow the agenda on a single screen. And so I'm a little out of order myself. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
It was me. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. So I also vote aye. I believe we're all in agreement that that passes unanimously, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. On to the next item, which I just screwed up because I went on the wrong screen. On to the next item, which is request to reschedule the regular Personnel Commission meetings of 2021. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Robin.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. And is there any discussion on this? Basically, what's happening is we're adding a meeting to February, and then we're changing the 2 March meetings and just moving them back by a week because we're adding the February 22nd meeting. Jennifer, can you just make everyone aware of why we're doing this?
The original schedule was accounting for multiple holidays in the month of February, but what we're finding is, especially in taking over recruitments from Stuart, is that there's a need to meet a second time later in the month, so that we can there's going to be several items that we can bring to that meeting. So rather than have 3.5, 4 weeks between meetings, we thought it would be better to take this approach.
We just need to make sure that everything's going forward in an orderly and timely fashion, correct?
That's correct. Mhm.
Okay. Any discussions on this item? Hearing and seeing none. Robin?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Jeff?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That passes unanimously. We're on to information items. Our next meeting is Monday, February 22nd at 5 p.m. We'll be on Zoom again. Comments from staff. Jennifer, do you have anything for us this evening?
One quick update. I've been able to meet with all except for one of the VPs. I set up a SharePoint site and provided the allocations for review. We've set an internal deadline, and we're just waiting over the next couple of weeks to reach those final agreements before we send notifications. So if all goes well, we will be sending notices out through more than likely mid-March. That's our target date.
Fantastic. That's great. Anything else from you, Jennifer?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Comments from commissioners. Robin, do you have anything for us this evening?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff, do you have anything for us this evening?
Well, I think, Jennifer, you touched on it. I thought at our last meeting we were going to have, are we still following the timeline for the compensation study? I thought we were going to have something back in February, or was that not to us? That was just you're working through the different levels at the college?
The goal was going to be at this meeting to provide a high-level overview of maybe like a dashboard of some of the results. So that's going to be at the next meeting. Another reason for having our February 22nd meeting.
That's actually why I thought we were rescheduling the meeting for February 22nd. I thought it was mainly for that more than anything else. So we were trying to follow the timeline with the compensation study. So that's great. Look forward to it. And is everyone comfortable so far at this point? Are you getting any pushback or anything on it, or hearing anything?
Not yet. I mean, it's gone through so many levels of just discussion, and the decisions or recommendations have evolved. So it's just reinforcing the messaging that nothing is final until we approve it at the PC and we go through the implementation process. So I think everybody's just really reviewing it carefully to make sure that we're all on the same page before we send notices.
And the priorities of this, and I've forgotten, but this is the first week of school, and we all know how priorities get moved back and forth. And as much as I strongly feel this is a priority, I also am realistic about the other things that take place. And the start of a quote new academic year is interesting, or semester. So look forward to on the 22nd, see what they had. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Jeff. I just want to wish everyone a great first week of school. It's always exciting, whether it's spring, fall, summer, whatever semester it may be. So thank you for everyone's hard work, because I know that a lot of things happen this week that are a little out of the ordinary. I just want to also acknowledge that when we're on these Zoom meetings, it's a challenge for all of us. So Robin, was, by an iPhone at the beginning, and I didn't have a link. And so Jennifer bailed me out on that. Dario bailed me out on that. So things happen at the last minute. And I just want to thank everyone who participates in making it flow as easily as we can, because there are challenges that we don't have when we're in person. But I appreciate it very much. And Dario, I know that you're always that cog that keeps us going. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. We really appreciate your hard work. Yeah.
I hope everyone realizes too that all the people that are helping on this meeting today is President's Day, and most, if all colleges or K-12s, they're closed. So I don't know what the situation is at Long Beach
I thought
City.
it was next Monday.
I thought today was the holiday.
No, you are correct, Jeff. Jeff, you are correct. There is a holiday today. My daughter is at Millikan and they were closed. But there are two, I believe, next week.
Yeah, I think next Monday's the federal.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my thanks to everyone at Long Beach City College for this is a quote unquote a holiday, and you get to spend your holiday with us. So
yes, thank
you very much. And I become such an expert at Zoom. I cannot wait to quit doing Zooms.
Oh.
I feel like the Jetsons. If anyone remembers, that was a cartoon.
Yes. Meet George Jetson.
Yep. Well, I always liked his daughter, but then that was a whole other story of adolescence. So anyway.
Jennifer, we are closed next Monday, right? College is closed next Monday? Okay. Yeah, next Monday is the federal. But yeah, I think some schools split it up for 2 weeks in a row, and other schools do 3 days and some do 4 days. So it just depends on what campus, but we're on the next Monday.
We're off this Friday and Monday. So it's a 4-day weekend.
That's awesome. I always thought that the 4-day was preferable. So that's great. Congratulations.
Well, Jennifer, I'll be sure to have an emergency at 4:50 on Thursday and start ringing your phone off the hook.
That's nice of you, Robin.
I'll gladly take your call, Robin.
I give where I can. I do want to mention that February is Black History Month, and the college is putting on a tremendous program.
You're part of it.
Yes, they'll kick off tomorrow. So if you have a moment, do dial in. They're going to be on YouTube, and I'm sure the information is available, but please, it should be very, very good. Our own superintendent will be there, as well as Trustee Intook. So it should start off as a wonderful affair, and I invite you all to come and join us.
We have a time?
I'm going to be there at 12:30 for tomorrow's kickoff. So I'm going to say 12:30.
Okay. You're the important one, so we'll be there for you.
Well, they're important. I'm just joining, but I'm excited. I'm very, very happy. Anything that has to do with Long Beach City College, it's the wind in my sails. So
Yeah,
I'm very
that's great.
excited about it.
Well, thank you for doing that, Robin.
I want.
Anyone else on the commission have anything to say? Okay, on to public comments. This is public comments on non-agenda items. Is there anyone who would like to speak to us tonight? Robert, Stacy, Donna, Juliet, Jennifer, or Dario? Is that all Yvonne's still out there?
So I just want to make it clear, next Personnel Commission meeting, Jennifer's going to give an overview of what's going on with the class study, correct? Okay, good. And then it is Black History Month, so this, like was already stated, the college is putting on an awesome thing as best they can via Zoom. Last year was amazing on campus, so we'll all look forward to whatever they can come up with this year, and hopefully, you know, it'll be better than last year, but that's hard to believe without the Zoom thing going. But Classified is raring to go. I know the week started out with a bang, so we're looking forward to this semester and see what happens in the summer. Maybe we'll be back on campus someday.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any comments? Donna, Stacy?
Yes, I have a question, if
Yes,
you don't mind. Thank
Stacy.
you for allowing me to ask.
Of
I
course.
just wanted to ask, there's a position for Director of EOPS that has been posted that is open. And I wondered what the criteria was for determining the classification. It appears that this position is higher than the Director of Financial Aid or the Director of Admissions and Records, which seems odd to me, as both of those positions seem to require more breadth and depth of knowledge than EOPS Care and Next Step. So I just wanted to inquire on what the criteria or what they use to compare it to. All the neighboring colleges, the Director of Financial Aid and Director of A&R is higher than the Director of EOPS.
When you say higher, can you clarify for me what?
I apologize, the salary range.
Oh, salary range, got it, okay.
Jennifer, do you have any response to that? Because I don't have anything at my fingertips that I could.
Yeah, I would need some time to look into this one. Pulling up the class spec right now.
My apologies, I didn't expect an immediate answer.
Is EOPS a grant position?
It's Extended Opportunities Programs and Services.
Right,
That's what
but it's-
EOPS stands for.
Right.
And this looks like, I'm thinking this might be an academic position, but I'm trying to, because it doesn't sound familiar to me, which is concerning. So that's why I want some time to really look into this carefully. I know there are a couple of classified positions for EOPS, but they're more coordinator, not director level positions. So I'd like some time to look into the background and see where we're at with this one.
Stacy, we don't want to put you off, but could you either do one of two things, depending on what your availability is and what works for you and Jennifer together? Either come back to our next meeting where she can go over it, or the two of you talk about it at a future time, whatever works for the two of you. I'm curious to have an answer as well, but I know that Jennifer could just share that with us at a future meeting.
I will be at the next meeting.
Okay, does that work for you, Jennifer? Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for bringing your question forward, Stacy, and joining us tonight. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay, with that, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate it very much. We always appreciate everyone's input, and thank you for all of your ability to weather these Zoom days. Please stay safe and healthy. And with that, I adjourn this meeting, and good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Thanks, Dario.
Recording stopped.
You're welcome.
Go Ducks.